Hello, Kelsey Taylor here, and welcome to a new video where I show some of my favorite comedy films. Now, this one's going to be a bit different from the movie reviews I do. Where usually in a review I would talk about a movie, about what it is about, and what I thought of it, and if it's worth seeing. Well, I'm going to be talking about a little bit of some of my favorite comedy films, like not in more depth, but just very briefly, and what I like about it. And I have like a handful of them. Not all of them though, because some of them I don't have on DVD or anywhere in the house. I just have the ones I looked through. See, like, yes, these are my favorite comedies. I'm going to show them in this video. And I have to keep my eye on the clock because I don't know how long this video is going to be. Maybe long, maybe short, but I don't want this card to be filled up. So if it does, and I'm not done showing the movies yet, that would suck. So this one fell on the floor. The first one I'm going to show is one of my favorite Jim Carrey films. Next to the ones I'm going to show later, I have like a bunch of them. Well, just a few of them. And the first one is The Mask, and I've always loved this movie. And there's of course that dumb sequel, Son of the Mask, which I did not care for. But this one is definitely, like, I'm sure most people have seen it. This is definitely one of my favorite movies of all time. And this one is one Mike Myers film, which I don't hear people talk about as much. They used to play a lot in 2007, 2008, like a lot during that time on Comedy Central. And it's the story of Mary Ann Axe Murder. It also has, what's her name? Nancy Travis. It's Mike Myers plays this poet who meets Nancy Travis at a meat shop, and like basically he has plans of marrying her, and then he hears about that she may be a like an axe killer, like she used to murder all her like her ex-husbands, like right after she married them, she kills them. So, and like Mike Myers is very paranoid about her. This is definitely a really funny movie, and Mike Myers also plays his character's father, who's this Scottish. It's a really funny part in it, and it's basically like a black comedy. Like I was trying to figure out if I could include this in this video or not, because it is comedy, but it's very well done. You should definitely check this one out. The next one is the one film that I liked in the year 2004. Like there's like very few of them. Like this is like one of those films a friend of mine I haven't seen in years and I used to be obsessed with, along with White Chicks, and the SpongeBob movie came out later that year, but it was pretty much like I'm sure I don't know if she's seen that one. I don't know. But this is the one we were obsessed with. It's Mean Girls with Lindsay Lohan back before she had all these problems. It's about her going to a high school for the first time because she was raised in Africa by her parents who were zoologist parents. Yeah, that's what it says on the back here. I can't pronounce it for some reason. But anyway, she moves to a new school and she meets these girls that are like they're plastics, played by Regina George. And I don't know how to explain this, but it's a very great film. It's one of my favorites I loved as a kid. I remember seeing this in theaters, and there is even this one line I added in the FMC as a joke. If you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. Where the principal, played by Tim Meadows, is like punishing the girls. Goes, "I'm gonna keep you here all night." The woman goes, "We can't keep them past 4. I'm gonna keep you here until 4. Ever since then, I never found that funny. Like if you found that line funny, then tell me. Like, I can never fully understand it. I remember hearing that line in the theater, and I hear people laughing, and I didn't even laugh at all. So, I don't know, but it's such a funny movie. It's one I always watched a lot, and if you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. There's also a sequel, but I don't know about that one. I haven't even watched it yet. But it doesn't have anyone from the original cast except for Tim Meadows, from what I heard. But the first one's definitely a worth watch. And this one, I already did a review of it. If you want to see my review of it, definitely check it out. I go more in depth to it. And it's Black Sheep with Chris Farley and David Spade. Like I said, this one's definitely funny. It's not really a sequel to Tommy Boy, so don't think of it as like, oh, it's related to Tommy Boy, it's the same thing. Well, it does have some similarities to it, but this one's a good one. The next one, I've never watched a TV show to this. I don't recall. My mother did. And this is one of those movies we watched. For a little while, we would watch some films on pay-per-view until to the point where we just don't do it anymore. especially in the last few months we don't have cable anymore. So, but I thought this film was really funny, and it's Get Smart with Steve Carell and Anne Hathaway, and I heard they're going to do a sequel to this, which I really hope it happens because I don't know, I really thought this was funny. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the show is a lot better, but I don't know. It's definitely worth checking out. And I kind of like a lot of like spy comedies more than serious spy films. Like I can't get into the James Bond movies too much. Like I don't like super serious spy flicks. I kind of like more like spy comedy flicks. But if I have to compare this with Johnny English and this one, this is definitely the one I would recommend the most. And this one is a well-known Chris Farley and David Spade film, and it's Tommy Boy, which of course this film's like it is like I said in my Black Sheep review. I think I like this as much as Black Sheep. I like them both the same, but this one I thought was hilarious. There's a lot of funny scenes with Chris Farley, and Chris Farley was hilarious. Like he would definitely be like a very big comedy star if he was still alive today. Like there were scenes with him with the fat guy in the little coat, and the famous, it's in the trailers where David Spade pulls the door off the car, and Chris Farley goes, "What'd you do?" It's just hilarious. You gotta like anything with Chris Farley in it. And this is another film that a friend of mine and I went nuts over in 2004 next to Mean Girls, and this is another review I did. It's White Chicks. Definitely a funny movie. Check out my review if you want to. I opened it in a crazy way, so don't think I'm reviewing it the entire time like, oh, White Chick's so cool! Yeah, I did it again. And this is one of the Arnold Schwarzenegger comedies that I liked. I also like Jingle All the Way, but I was going to pick some Christmas ones to include here in this list, but it's going to be another video. But this one I like, this Kindergarten Cop. It's Arnold playing this undercover cop, and he has to teach a class with these kindergarten students that were just like pain in the butts at first, and then he ends up like trying to get along with them and deal with them, and it's such a good movie. It's like one of those comedies they don't make anymore. The next one is one of the very few spoof films that I liked. I don't think I've seen all the scary. I've seen Scary Movie 2, 3, and parts of 4, but this is like one of those standalone comedy films, like in the style of Meet the Spartans, Disaster Movie, Epic Movie, and all those. But this one is actually the best. It's a superhero movie where it's basically like a spoof on superhero films, but it's basically towards Spider-Man. It has Drake Bell and Leslie Nielsen in it. And if you're against watching this, I would definitely check it out. Like at first I was against this. Like a friend of mine brought it here at the house. I'm like, I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna like this one. This looks stupid. I remember even seeing the trailers for it. I'm like, what is that? And I ended up watching this film and actually like fell in love with it. It's absolutely hilarious. It does get a bit serious like towards the end as you expect, but definitely check this out. It's not as bad as everybody has made it out to be. And this one is my favorite David Spade film of all time, and he's actually doing a sequel to it, which I can't wait to see. And I'm so glad he's playing the character because it's such a funny film, and it's Joe Dirt. It's about Joe Dirt telling his story about how he was left at the Grand Canyon as a kid, and then he decides to go off searching for his parents and all the stuff that happened along the way. And it's such a funny movie. And the crazy thing is when I first watched this as a kid, if you've seen this movie, there's a scene where Joe meets this girl here, and he thinks it's his sister, and they made out, and the girl goes, "I'm your sister, I'm your sister, I'm your sister." No joke. As a kid, I used to spur that line a lot. Not in public until I used to spur it around the house, going, "I'm your sister, I'm your sister," until my mom had a little talk with me. I always remember that. Yeah, that film had a lot of jokes I couldn't get as a kid, but I think I could get now. But as a kid, I didn't know what I was doing. What was I thinking? And these two, which I liked a lot, especially the sequel, is both the Wayne's World films. Like, I'm a huge fan of Wayne's World. Like, I mean, my favorite actor is Mike Myers. So there's a few movies I show here. I showed So I Married an Axe Murderer. Some of them and one of them I might say at the end. Who knows? But I've always liked these movies. Of course, the first one is the best one, but I like the sequel as well because it has appears with Aerosmith and I mean, those are such fun films. I've always loved Wayne's World sketches on Saturday Night Live. It's definitely a very, very fun films. I would definitely check out the sequel if you want to, but if you're like against it, then I won't force you to see it. But the first one's definitely worth seeing. And this one is my favorite Tom Hanks film, next to Forrest Gump, and it's big. I'm sure most people have seen this. It's definitely a classic comedy. It's about Tom Hanks wishing he was an adult, and then wishes he was big to this. He saw this thing at a carnival, and then the next day he wakes up as a 30-year-old man, and this is definitely a very one of those films that has such a heart. Like I like comedies with a heart, and this one has one of you could almost cry to it. And I even saw the piano at the I think it's the Planet Hollywood restaurant in New York City where they had the big piano that he and another guy dances on. It's fun scene in that. And the next one is the only animated comedy film I have here. And I have other ones, but this one I think is a comedy more. And it's Beavis and Butthead Do America, where Beavis and Butthead go on this trip trying to find their stolen TV and something else that's pretty weird. I've always liked Beavis and Butthead. I've always liked the cartoon. Even as a kid, I always liked the movie more than the show until I got older and didn't like the show as much, especially the newer episodes that aired in 2011, 2012, and then after that they stopped doing them. It's they brought back Beavis and Butthead for a year and then they stopped. But it's definitely a must see if you like Beavis and Butthead, and I hope they do another one. If they brought them back years ago, they could do another movie if they can't go on doing the show again. And this one is a John Candy film I like, and it's Uncle Buck. It's about John Candy coming over to basically it's his was it the wife's brother or maybe the dad's father's brother. They have to get a babysitter last minute to take care of their kids while they go off on a family emergency, and John Candy comes over to take care of the kids. And this also has Macaulay Culkin in this. This is the year before he did Home Alone, and it's definitely a good movie. If you haven't seen a John Candy film, this is one I would recommend. I've never seen a lot of John Candy films. Like I said, if you see my Rookie of the Year review, how disappointed I was where John Candy name wasn't credited in that film, even though he had scenes throughout that film as a sports announcer. I like John Candy stuff. I don't think I've seen a lot of them. I remember him in Cool Runnings and some few others. I like John Candy. I don't think I watched many of them. There's this SCTV VHS which I have to watch. It's just I've been too lazy to get around to it. And this one in honor of the late Rob Williams. This is one film I'm sure a lot of people are gonna predict. Oh, I know you're gonna pick this one up. And it's Mrs. Doubtfire. This is my favorite Rob Williams film next to Jumanji. And I loved him on the show Mork and Mindy, which I mentioned before is my favorite TV show of all time. And it's such a good movie. I mean, everyone knows about this one. This is definitely a classic. And this one is one Paul Hogan movie I liked a lot, which I like. After seeing this one, I like to watch more Paul Hogan movies. And it's the first Crocodile Dundee. The second one I thought I think it was decent, but I thought when I first watched it, it was a bit boring. And the third one was good, but kind of cheesy. But this is the best one to watch. Even when I first there was a period of time where I used to rent movies from the library a lot or watch stuff online. This is one of those movies I rented from the library, and I actually ended up liking a lot more when I got this on DVD. I got this from the defunct Borders, which isn't around anymore. So if you haven't seen Crocodile Dundee, I would definitely recommend this one. This one, Paul Hogan's best films I've seen so far. And the next one is one of those movies based on TV shows that this was from the same director who did Black Sheep and the first Wayne's World. It also has the late Jim Varney as Chet Clampton as the Beverly Hillbillies, which I thought was really funny. There's this funny scene on the plane with the hillbillies, and it's such a fun one. It also has Lily Tomlin, Rob Schneider, and Cloris Leachman as the grandma. I mean, it's definitely a funny movie, and I don't think I've ever seen the original show, so I'm not sure, but this movie's very hilarious. You'll get a good laugh out of it. Now, I have yet to see the new one, surprisingly, and I didn't even get around watching the prequel to this. But the next one's another Jim Carrey one, which I didn't watch as much because I never owned it. I had it on VHS for a while, and then I got the DVD of it in this 2-pack, and it's Dumb and Dumber with Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels. Like everyone knows about that one, and I really want to see the third one. And this one is another favorite Jim Carrey movie, and it's Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. I also like When Nature Calls, and don't watch what Ace Ventura Jr., the one that doesn't have Jim Carrey in it. This is during the time where Jim Carrey was really against doing sequels, and then he decides to do the new Dumb and Dumber, which I'm glad he did. You know, I gotta see that one. You know, because I think I like Jim Carrey's old movies best. You know, like The Mask and Dumb and Dumber, and this Ace Ventura I always loved. You know, it has a lot of scenes, like I say on a daily basis, like, alrighty then. You know, if you haven't seen this one, like I said, if you haven't seen any of those movies, I would definitely recommend them. These ones I would recommend the most here. Now, this is one of the Cheech and Chong movies that I liked. It's basically my mother's. Like, I would not, like when I was younger, I was not allowed to watch them by myself. I have to, watch these with her, because if you see these movies, you know what I'm talking about. And there's another one I should put on the list, but I should watch it again. But this is the first one I've seen all the way through with my mom watching. This is during the time when Cheech and Chong were coming back to tour. And I don't know if they're still touring or not still. This was years ago. And this is Cheech and Chong's Up in Smoke. And I used to saw a sound clip in one of my VMCs with, "You get a job before sundown, or she'll be off to military school with that Finkelstein kid." I can't curse in the video because I may get Christian friends watching this, but yeah, you know what I'm talking about if you've seen it. It's just a funny scene. And there's this one scene where that woman's messing with Tommy Chong in the truck, and he's pushing him, and people all watching. And then Cheech goes, "I didn't know your name was Alex, man." And my mom was laughing on the floor so hard, and I don't know. It's just I even had to ask her about that. I was 15 when I first saw this, but yeah. This movie has some weird parts in it, so I wouldn't recommend this movie to everybody. Just if you like Cheech and Chong, then go right ahead and check it out. But just a lot of weird stuff. If this is one of those films they made nowadays, I don't know if anyone will allow it. The next one is My Python and the Holy Grail. Now, surprisingly, I haven't seen any more of the My Python films. We got Meaning of Life somewhere, but I have yet to watch it. But this is the one I watch a lot. I even saw the Broadway show when I brought it here years ago, because my family are huge My Python fans, so we went to see it. And this is a well-known one. I don't need to get into detail to it. And this is one of my favorite Mel Brooks films that he's directed. And this was one with Gene Wilder. They did other ones like Producers, which I liked, and Blazing Saddles. This one is Young Frankenstein, and I watched this for the first time a few years ago. And I remember we still have the VHS tape to it. I remember my mom wanted me to watch it or something. For some reason I was against it, because I'm not a horror fan. I'm not. I like hearing people talk about horror films. I like watching James Rolfe's Monster Madness. I have no problem with that. But watching horror films stand alone is just not my thing. I don't know. But this one is a horror comedy. It's basically a homage to the Universal monster movies, mainly on the Frankenstein films. This is definitely a funny movie. I ended up liking this a lot more than I thought. That's why it's on the list. Voice is running out. Okay, I think I might end this after I show this one. Just put it in 2 parts then. The last one I'm going to show here for now is a Thanksgiving comedy, but this is one of the National Lampoon movies. This is not the one with Chevy Chase. They've done a lot of stuff with the National Lampoon title. This is I don't hear people talk about this. With Judge Reinhold, this is National Lampoon's holiday reunion. Is Judge Reinhold and his family going out to see his crazy brother and his family for Thanksgiving? And I think this aired this on TV. I remember I first saw this on DVD, so I don't remember. I'm sure it aired on TV, but I just don't remember what channel. But it's definitely a funny movie to check out. I know Thanksgiving is over, but check this one out. It's hilarious. So, that's part 1 of my favorite comedies. I got, like, not that many left, but I'm going to stop here in case this card starts to fill up. And I'm going to post, part 2 pretty soon. I think, like, the same day. It just depends. But, I'll put a link in the description of the video as soon as part 2's up. That way you have to go searching for it. And thanks for watching so far, and I'll catch you guys later.